I think what you are, and maybe you could be humble and say I'm right, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think what you are is you're fearless. You're not afraid to go out on a limb. You're not afraid to travel. Come see guys like me, fly across the country, get away from your company and spend money, which most guys would be scared out of their wits. Like, well, I'm away and I think I could go learn something by traveling and meeting other operations. But the thought of getting away from my business and unplugging myself from the day to day, I think everything is going to collapse. And I just don't have the balls to pull it off. Same thing with bringing in an ops manager or hiring a sales manager or bringing in somebody to replace parts of you that you used to do. It's a big leap of faith because you have to afford it. And now you're moving off at the same time yourself, and you're going into uncharted territory of growth for you. So again, it takes swinging to the balls, as I say, in every direction. And I think that you're a big ball swinger, my friend. So am I right or am I right?
So I would say you're right. But my wife would agree with you.
It always goes to the wife conversation, and I would say the same thing to you. My wife would. We'll have to get the girls together at Gutter Con. Is your wife coming?
I believe she is. We're talking about the logistics with the kids right now.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
So
it takes some. Tell me about being brave.
so I would say like you talk about swinging for the fences, swinging for the balls, whatever. Uh, I went to Grant Cardone 10X conference, right?
Neat.
I'm going there. I'm going to be all jacked up. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to learn so much. And we're sitting in the conference, and I looked over at my wife. I said, "What do you think?" She's like, "We don't need to be here." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's
You're
like,
already
"This is the
jazzed
way
up,
you think anyway. Like this isn't."
right?
She's like, "This isn't helping you." She
Yeah,
said,
but
I
I
get
know
more
what
out
you
of
need.
gutter
You
con."
you need the fuel. I mean, look, why would I attend? I haven't been to a Grant Cardone function, but I would. And the reason why I do it is I'm all firepower and geared up, but sometimes you got to fill the tanks, right? You got to fill up with some diesel fuel and get back in the trenches, and you need that like that reminder or that sort of that confidence booster. Like I'm doing the right thing. Everybody in this room is doing the same thing. I'm on the right path. Thanks for the reminder. And then she's right. Let's split. Let's get home and get back to it.
Yeah. So I'll give you one thing though that I think Brent will appreciate though is the first year I went to GutterCon, I thought it was a joke and I thought it was never going to last. But after the first year, I was hooked, and I left there with so much motivation, so much excitement, and filled up the tanks. And I saw a comment the other day where somebody said, "I just can't afford to spend $500 on a getaway for the weekend." You spend that 500, you'll get it back tenfold. It'll
Oh my
turn into
God. It's a
5,000.
no brainer. It's back to the fear factor, right? It's back to the scarcity thinking and the just that fear that freezes guys over. $500, $700, $5,000. I mean, it's no different from me as a vendor. I'm spending in excess of $10,000 to be a vendor, and I don't
Yeah.
want to part with that money, but I know that money makes money, and you put it out, and it comes back to you, and you have to have trust in the process. If you can't trust the process, you can't grow a business. It just doesn't work. It doesn't
And you got
work.
to be able to get away. Like start with 1 day, start with 2 days, start with 3 days, then go to a week, then go to a month. Like you've got to be able to leave and know that it's not going to fall apart. Is it going to go perfect? Probably not.
No.
Especially the first time, probably not. But it gets better every time. Your team grows every time. Like they need you out of the building so that they can grow. And it's super important for you to do that just for your own team.
That just kind of it reminded me of something. And one of these like little takeaways that I in business school that I it's always kind of stuck with me, and I always wonder how other people feel about it. I'd love to ask this question to you. They say in order to scale, and I do believe this. This is 100% true, but I'm still not comfortable with it. But I wonder how other guys feel about it. They say to scale, you have to accept that the business is not going to be at running at 100% efficiency. Sales, presentation, customer service, it's not going to be at 100. Maybe it'll be in the 80s. It'll be a B plus if you're lucky. And you have to accept that as the owner in order to be able to step away and let it grow. Um, how do you feel about that? Do you agree with that? And did you get
Yeah.
yourself into a place where you're comfortable with that in order to grow? Or do you fight that like me, where it kind of just makes you kind of woozy in the stomach every once in a while?
Every once in a while it gets to me, but I got over it. So the thing for me, the biggest struggle I had, and I think the biggest struggle most gutter guys have, is they're like, nobody's going to install gutters like I did.
Agreed. And we're saying, yes, that's the case. That's right.
Yeah, and that's fine. But what really matters and what the customer really cares about is that you stood behind it regardless. So if they made a mistake, if your installers that you hired made a mistake, you came back, you fixed it, no questions asked. Maybe you were the one that had to go fix it. That's okay. It was a training point. You got to teach your guys something. Like I used to struggle with it because I was I was an arrogant guy when I was growing up. Like I was the best installer we ever had is what I kept telling everybody.
Right.
And I'm like, now I'm almost 40 and I don't want to be on a truck anymore. I don't want to be the best installer anymore.
Right. To me, as an owner, it's not about the guy I put on a truck that is the quote unquote best installer. By the way, those guys are usually toxic. The whole crew hates them. They don't get along with anyone. They're divas a lot of times. But
Yeah.
to me, for the business, for the big picture, it's not about the guy that's the absolute craftiest, best installer. It's about the guy that gives the best customer service and the best customer experience, whether it be the job lead or the foreman or what have you. If they leave that job, the job's done adequately to satisfaction, and the homeowner feels good about the business, that's my best guy. That's my top guy. That's what we need to build as business owners in order to build a business that scales, that gets referrals. Marketing is expensive. The cheapest, which means the best lead source, is referral leads, where someone says, "Oh, you got to call Cory. He's the best around." That costs nothing. That was absolutely free. How do you make people feel like that? You have to give them this wow factor, and that's not inherent to a staffer. That has to be trained. That has to be initiated. That usually has to be systemized by the owner and management. And those are the things you need to implement. Having a technical staff is important, but it's not paramount. It's not everything.
So we had an installer. It starts with the attitude of the installers, and that's where I say walking around and talking with your guys, like it's your person answering the phone, and it's the person doing the install because it's the first and last person they meet. But what's in between matters, obviously, but I remember an installer that I had that was probably one of the angriest installers I've ever employed, and he he went to the job site. He actually, when he quit, he drove to a job site, called, got a ride, and left my truck there. Like it took me a while to figure it out. That's the kind of guy
He was an asshole, is what he was. Yeah. He was just an asshole.
Yeah, but he went on a service call, and the customer was yelling at him, and he comes back and he's telling me about this whole interaction. He says, "I don't know why you're so fucking mad. I know that no matter what, Cory will stand behind it, and you'll get what you want. I want to make sure you know that."
Well, that's one way to do it.
I'm like, he was an asshole, and he still got it.
He was a real people person.
But no, it's all good. Like you learn by all of those things. But what's made me let go and be able to let go is knowing that like we're growing into something else, that we're supporting other families, that we're becoming something that means something to me. Like this is a legacy business for me. I'm not sure I'll ever sell it. Like
I know you're so invested in it. I mean, again, Dad is in there. It's a family-run business, just like mine is. But I mean, I am so motivated, and I can't wait to watch you continue to grow and tell us about where you're at and what you're doing.